How important is it to be financially prepared?
Ang perfect comparison is yung face mask and alcohol. Who would think na biglang out of stock na lang siya sa grocery or sa drugstore, no? Dati, it was just readily available.
What should be our mindset in dealing with this financial crisis?
You have to have a growth mindset. You accept that failure and success come hand in hand. When you fall, it's not a sign of failure. It's rather a sign that you succeeded in making a step.
Hello to everyone all over the world. Magkakasama na naman tayo sa panibagong kwentuhan ngayong Sabado ng gabi dito sa Usapang Lockdown. And today, we will be joined by a financial expert, Miss Steph Ng. Miss Steph is a unit manager and an advisor for Sun Life. She's the founder of the Startup Family, and her family has been with Sun Life for already 40 years. Welcome to Usapang Lockdown, Miss Steph.
Hi, Jacob. Glad to be here. I'm happy that you invited me to this talk.
Thank you for your time and your willingness to share with us your knowledge on finance.
Oo naman. Always happy to share my advocacy, lalo na sa'yo, malakas ka naman sa akin.
So, how are you holding up in this lockdown naman po?
Okay naman, coping, no? So, definitely, first few months was a challenge. We had to learn so many new technologies, lalo na the industry has always been very traditional. We've always required face-to-face meetings. So, on the first month, business really was put to a halt. So, thankfully, if there's anything good that happened, it's that the pandemic throttled the insurance industry into this new normal. Helped us embrace the idea of talking to clients online, no? processing servicing forms online din. So it's been better, and I'm really grateful that I'm able to work from home. I'm able to stay safe, no? So definitely worried about the people who have to go outside to work, no? So really, it's coping, but also praying for the other people who are not as fortunate.
That's good to know naman po. And speaking of pandemic, in this time of pandemic, ang daming may mga money and financial issues. There are people losing their jobs. There are people who barely have enough or just have enough in their life. So a lot of people are struggling right now in this pandemic. Of course, nobody has prepared for this and nobody saw this coming. Now we realize talaga how important it is to be prepared for unexpected crises like this. So, how important is it to be financially prepared? How can I financially prepare myself for these kinds of moments?
Yeah, it's true, no, Jacob. It's good you mentioned no one was prepared for it. Talaga, no? So, even the day before the lockdown, I had a team meeting. I was oblivious to the fact that by next day, di na pala ako makalabas, no? So, dapat pala yung pizza namin nung team meeting, dinamihan ko na yung kain. Kasi I realized that was the last time I'd be eating pizza with my teammates, no? Definitely, it's very good to be prepared, no? In an ideal situation, sana talaga, it's something we should prepare before the crisis. So, ang analogy namin dyan is, bago pang may sunog, dapat may fire extinguisher na tayo, no? But don't worry, even if you haven't started your protection yet, it's a good time now. If anything, this is learning for all of us to really start preparing. In fact, ang perfect comparison is yung face mask and alcohol. Who would think na biglang out of stock na lang siya sa grocery or sa drugstore, no? Dati, it was just readily available. In fact, parang it was gathering dust pa nga eh. So like, ikaw ba, Jacob, were you buying face masks last year?
Last year, siguro for mga school purposes lang, like laboratory works.
Right, di ba? Ganun lang, no? So ganun na ganun kasi ang protection. When we don't need it, it's easily available. It's cheap, no? And then when the time comes that we desperately need it already, that's when it's always harder to prepare, harder to protect ourselves, no? Pero again, it's still a good time to start kasi really, starting is an accomplishment in itself. So, ang unang-unang important step to protecting ourselves is really to set up an emergency fund. So, this is our pinaka-basic safety net. No? So, nakikita natin sa cartoons, diba, yung basagin nila yung piggy bank. So, it has to be something readily available. So, it can either be in a safe in your house or in a bank account na savings lang. Or just in case of an emergency, you can easily withdraw it. And the rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. No? Expenses, ito yung mga bare bones survival expenses, food, rent, etc. So, it's good to compute that. No? So, even before we set up the emergency fund, we should have an idea how much we're actually spending. And that's really one of our core jobs, really, to help you assess how much you're spending, how much you need for your emergency fund, etc. We call this our financial health checkup. So once we have the emergency fund or once we started it, the next layer of protection, so syempre we have to have a lot, diba? So pag kunyari aeroplano, diba, dapat meron tayong seatbelt, meron tayong parachute na kunwag just in case, no? So ganyan din sa buhay, dapat the more layers of protection, the better. So yung second layer is yung insurance. So a lot of people tend to think, insurance, okay, death, diba? So it's not always death. So we have what we call living benefits. So ang pinaka-important is the health insurance. So just in case of a major critical illness or hospitalization, you have a readily available fund that will pay that off. No? So the way insurance works really is, it parang rewards you for starting. Even if you start small kasi, even if you start your first quarter pa lang, automatic yung guaranteed benefit nandun na siya. So it's a good way to start na someone's already helping you imbes na ikaw lang yung nag-work for yourself. So yan yung dalawa, emergency fund and insurance. That's a very good tandem. And then, syempre, HMO is also important for those minor illnesses naman. No?
Yes, I agree po. Kasi, di ba, when these crises happen, so it's good to be prepared. So, we know naman na a lot are worrying right now. A lot of people are anxious about money issues, especially na at times, you don't know if you have a job tomorrow or next month. So, what should be your mindset in dealing with this financial crisis?
Okay, it's good you mentioned the word mindset, no? Kasi that's exactly my answer, no? You have to have a good mindset. So number one, we have to accept the fact that we're anxious about it. So what I always like to say is, don't feel bad about feeling bad, no? So we tend to beat ourselves just because we're anxious, and we end up spending so much time being anxious about being anxious, diba? So number one, accept it, no? Kasi it's a common human nature, diba? Even when we were kids, if we'd listen to something new, diba? Umiiyak tayo kasi we don't know what that is, no? So once we have accepted that, yun, no, yung what you mentioned, Jacob, yung mindset, we have to have a growth mindset. And when we say growth mindset, it doesn't mean that we're always succeeding, diba? In fact, it's the opposite. When you have a growth mindset, you accept that failure and success come hand in hand. So in fact, I like to say that when you fall, it's not a sign of failure. It's rather a sign that you succeeded in making a step. So sa growth mindset, it's finding opportunities, actually any and all opportunities to protect and earn more. No? So like yung number one, pinaka easy na for me is decluttering. Diba? Uso na ngayon yung Marie Kondo, diba? So we just sort through our clothes, diba? Like lately nag-sort ako, parang ang dami ko palang damit na hindi kasya sa akin. Kasi alam mo yung parang feeling ko, hindi, papayat ako. Pero alam mo yun, tinanggap ko na ito na yung weight ko. So all these things that I've decluttered, I can sell it. No? Sell it even at a cheaper price, but it's money back. No? It's money back for you. And wala kang puhunan, no nothing, di ba? Kasi yung delivery naman, yung buyer yung mag-shoulder, no? And then number two, it's about finding ways to save money. Like, even as students, syempre, we don't have as much time we need to study also everything, no? Pwedeng just finding ways to save more electricity. Kunyari, aircon ninyo open 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Maybe 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. na lang buksan ninyo, no? Yung savings ng electricity niyan would be very much appreciated by your parents. And then, you can also go another level, no? You can list down all the things that you're good at. It's important when you're looking for a sideline or a side hustle, you have to look for things you're good at and things you like. So things you're good at, like right now, ang dami yung mga young people na they use their design skills. No? Nagdo-drawing sila sa Facebook and then they charge a certain amount. So walang puhunan, oras natin lang ipuhunan, pero walang money out, kumbaga. No? And then we earn money. No? And then it can also be a good time to really expand ourselves, learn something new. Let's say, talent natin is design. We can find a free course to help us improve on that, no? So, while we're charging people for our design services, we're finding ways to upgrade para we can charge more. And then, yan. And then, yung pinakauso ngayon, yung mga pandesal, selling, baking stuff, diba? Super uso siya ngayon. And it's very effective, lalo na you target your locality. So, people around your area. Pwede mo sabihin, free delivery within this area. Talaga, it all starts with the mindset. Once we start actively thinking that we can earn money or we can earn additional, everything will just open up and you'll just think of so many new opportunities right around the corner.
So, since we have talked about people like who just makes enough, can I be financially prepared if I just make enough? And how can I be able to save even during this quarantine?
Right, no? Oo, that's true. Kasi when you start your job talaga, minimum pa lang yan, no? Tapos ang daming expenses, no?
Mm-mm.
So, number one talaga, very important is the one-on-one financial health checkup. Kasi you're making enough right now, but have you really done the scientific or the computation, see if you're really making enough? So, yun yung number one. Kasi minsan, kala natin ganun nga, pero once we analyze, oh, teka, parang you're actually unallocating 20% of your income, di ba? Or actually 20% of your income nasasayang sa some expense na pwede pala nating i-do without, no? So number one yun. And then number two, if we really realize that we're just making enough, which is understandable for some, dun talaga lalabas yung finding new ways to earn more, no? So like, I know people na kahit minimum wage sila, kahit na may mga iba single moms pa, no? They would sell food to people, no? So, kunya, bibili sila ng bulk na chicharon, bibenta nila sa office. So, it really helps a long way. Pero the most important part is to know exactly how much you should be earning para kahit pa paano you have this goal in mind. So, yun talaga siya. Definitely, there will be many instances where you will need to look for supplemental sources of income din talaga. Based on experience on my 7 years in Sunlight, I've noticed a lot of clients na kahit na ang dami nila expense, ang dami nila obligation, nagagawa nila. And it's such a parang rewarding experience when I do updates with them this year na, oh, you're on your 6th year na. How does it feel, di ba? And they tell me na, alam mo, hindi ko na naramdaman. No? So, definitely sa start, mararamdaman mo, pero eventually it becomes part of your daily, monthly expenses already. So with the combination of a mindset, computing your checkup results, finding out how much you need to allocate, and then finding ways to earn more, with all of these, I think and I believe that definitely you can find a way to start. No? We're not saying that you're gonna get your full ideal protection immediately, but definitely starting, kaya natin yan. Actually nga, sa daming steps ng achieving your dream, saving talaga yung hardest eh. The rest, like growing your money, getting protection, easy na eh. Saving lang talaga yung pinaka-important. So, definitely speak to an advisor to get a one-on-one checkup.
And there we have it. That's today's episode. We hope you were able to learn a thing or two about being financially prepared. And to those who are watching, if you want to hear more from Miss Steph about saving and investing, where can they contact you or find you po, Miss Steph?
I would love to talk to you guys if you don't have an advisor yet. I'd love a one-on-one health checkup with you guys. It's free. So it's a service that we really give as our advocacy, no? So you can go to Facebook page. It's facebook.com/startupfamily. It's on the link below, no? Yan, okay. And then if you're friends with Jacob, you can look for me there. My name on Facebook is Steph Ng. No, username ST3PH. You can just add me up there and then we can chat and talk about this further.
So there we go. As always, thank you, Miss Steph. So there we go, folks. Till next talk.